Hello everyone. In the previous lecture of debugging, we have studied about what is SAP Debugger and what are the functions of F5 and F6 key. Now we will cover F7 and F8 key and we will see some another functions also. So again I am going to my program with the help of SC38 transaction code, that is the transaction code for ABAP editor. I am displaying the program. We already have the breakpoint at this executable statement. Now I am executing the program, providing the input. Now I am executing the program. Again I am going for desktop 3. Now in SAP Debugger we always have to go for desktop 3. This is the most preferable desktop because in this desktop you can see the logic, you can see the coding, and you can see the variables values both in the parallel mode, or you can see the both things together. So this is the most preferable desktop. Now we have already gone through this F5 and F6 key. F5 is for line, F5 is for step-by-step execution, F6 is for line-by-line execution. Now we will cover F7 and F8 keys. Now at this place F5 and F6 both have same functions. Now I am pressing F5. Now this internal table has one record. Now if I am again pressing F5, this internal table has one number of record. Now at this place F5 and F6 both behave differently. If you are pressing F6, it will act as one line. If you are pressing F5, now you are inside the, at that point you are inside the reusable component. Now at this place suppose I am pressing F5. Now I am inside the reusable component. Now if I want to come out from this reusable component, or if I want to return from this reusable component, how I can return? With the help of F7 key. Now if I am pressing F7, see, now I am back to my original program. So if in some cases you are inside some subroutine or you are inside some reusable components, and if I want to come out or if you want to return, you have to always prefer F7 key. So F7, so what is the function of the F7 key? F7 has the function of returning. If you want to skip some part or if you want to skip some reusable component, then you can return back to your original program with the help of F7 key. Now I am again exiting. Now we will see for the function of F8 key. I am going for the program. Now in this current program, suppose I am putting 3 breakpoints. Yes, putting the breakpoint at this statement, putting the breakpoint at this statement. Now, so I am executing the program. Now I am providing that document number. I am going to desktop 3 because it is the most preferable desktop. Now F8 is for continuous execution. Suppose at this point if I am pressing F8 key, now my execution is at this point. Now if I am again pressing F8 key, now my control is at this position. Now if I am pressing F8 key, I will directly get the output. Now if I am pressing F8, I will get the output. So F8 is for continuous execution. F8 is for continuous execution. In this program I have put 3 breakpoints. So whenever I am pressing F8, the execution will automatically comes to this position. Now if I am pressing F8, automatically execution comes at this position. So F8 is for continuous execution. So we have total 4 execution keys: F5, F6, F7, F8. F5 is for step-by-step execution, F6 is for line-by-line execution, F7 is for return, and F8 is for continuous execution. Now I am deleting these breakpoints. Now I have put only one breakpoint. Now we will explore some more things in the debugging mode. Now I am executing the program. I am providing the document number 4969. Executing the program, going for desktop 3. Now I am executing this statement with the help of F5 key. Now this internal table has one number of record. Now Whenever you want to check for the value of a variable or a value for the internal table, you have to double click on that variable or you have to double click on the internal table. That variable will or internal table will be automatically appear here. Now if you want to check for the contents of that, double click on that internal table. It will show you the contents, it will show you the records, what are the various records in that internal table. Here we have this 1:4 identifies that it has one number of record and it has 4 number of columns. Now in SAP, in the debugger mode, we have various features. We can change the values, we can delete the values, we can insert the values. These are the various features which are available in the debugging mode. We will explore these features one by one. So we have this button which is called as the services of the tool. Now I am firstly going for the changing of the contents, changing for the contents. Now I am pressing, so in the first case I am changing the contents, so I am clicking on this change contents, change. So suppose I am changing the document number from 4969 to 4970. Now I am pressing enter. Now see, from the initial screen I have provided the document number 4969. Now I have changed the value from 4969 to 4970. So again I am going for desktop 3. Now I am pressing F8 key for continuous execution. Now I am pressing F8 key. Now see, from the initial screen I have provided 4969. Now I am getting the output for 4970. So in the debugging mode you can change the values. Now again I am executing the program. I am going for desktop 3. Suppose I am executing this statement with the help of F5 key. Now in the debugging mode we can add some rows also. So I am displaying this internal table. In this we have a record for 4969. We can add some rows also. So we can add some rows with the help of append row. So we have the button append row. OK. Now we are entering one more row for 4970. From the initial screen I have provided only one 4969. Now I am adding one more document number in the debugging mode, that is 4970. Again going for desktop 3. Now I am pressing F8 key. Now we have the result for 4969 as well as the result for 4970. Now I am backing this. Now I am again executing. I am pressing F5 key. Now in this internal table we can delete the rows also. Suppose I am again going for appending the rows and I am adding suppose 4970. Enter. Now I am deleting this first row by this delete selected row buttons. Now yes, I want to delete this row. Now the record is deleted. Now from the initial screen I have provided 4969. Now I am checking for the output, or now I am executing the program for 4970. Now if I am going to desktop 3 and if I am pressing F8, now we have the result for 4970. So in the debugging mode itself you have the feature for changing the contents, you have the features for adding the rows, you have the feature for deleting the rows. Suppose I am executing this program. I am exiting from the debugger. I am again going for the program, executing the program. Suppose now I am providing the input from 4969 to 4980. Suppose I am executing this program, going to desktop 3, pressing F5 key. Now this internal table has 12 number of records. Suppose now in the debugging mode you can delete the whole table also. There is a option delete complete table. You can delete the selected rows also, but you can delete all rows also. So you can, if you want to delete all the rows, you have to use this button. Yes. Now the internal table is blank. Now this internal table does not have any data. Now we have one more important feature in the debugging mode, that is called as backtracking, or that is called as to debug the previous code. Now this part is already executed. Now if we want to execute this part again, so what we will do, we will put the cursor on this specific line and we will go for debugger and we will go for go to statement. Now I am again executing this logic with the help of F5 statement. Now see, this internal table has again 12 number of records. I am again explaining, if in the debugging mode you want to backtrack or you want to debug some specific code which you have already executed, so how you can debug? You have to put the cursor on that particular position and you have to go for debugger and you have to go for go to statement. I am again explaining, suppose by mistake I have deleted all the rows. Okay, now this internal table is blank, lt underscore vbak. Now if I want to execute this step again, so what I will do, I will put the cursor here, I will go for debugger, I will go for go to statement. Now if I am pressing F5, now this internal table has again 12 number of records. So this is called as backtracking, or this is called as debugging the previous code which you have already executed. Now we will continue this session in the next lectures or in the next tutorials for debugging.